It's time for another expert interview, and I'm delighted to have with me today from WorldFirst is Simon Smallwood. Good day, Simon.
Hi, Rob. It's great to be with you today.
Of course it is. This is a privileged show, Simon. Not everyone gets to go on it, so you're in hallowed company. And for the benefit of people that don't know you, Simon, give us 60 seconds of your career to date.
Great. Okay. Well, my name's Simon Smallwood. I'm the head of partnerships with WorldFirst. I've been with WorldFirst for the past 14 months, and prior to that, I'd spent 2.5 years working for a fintech startup based in the UK that provided SMB, small, medium-sized businesses with automated cash flow forecasting services driven through artificial intelligence. Prior to that, I've been working for a number of years in financial services. So prior to that, I'd actually been working in a business that I co-founded with my now wife. So that business was set up in 2008, 9 months before Lehman Brothers went bust, and it's still going today. But I had a lot of time, a lot of enjoyable time working there and learning a lot. So
Sure,
set me on the path today.
Now, WorldFirst sounds global. How big is WorldFirst?
So WorldFirst as a business, they were established in 2004, but they've grown very quickly. So we've got over 500 colleagues that I work with across the globe. We've got 7 offices in Europe, based in London and then in the Netherlands, and then primarily focused in the Asia Pacific.
And in a nutshell, what does WorldFirst do?
WorldFirst helps businesses save money when they're making payments internationally. And they do that by providing more competitive exchange rates and reduced transfer charges. But the service has evolved and developed over the years so that more than just helping with international payments, we now help businesses manage all aspects of their foreign currency exposure in terms of collecting the proceeds of sales they're making in different jurisdictions, and then managing the payments that they're making to suppliers, partners, and other stakeholders in the business. So it's ultimately we just try and make it easier for companies to do business globally.
Yeah, and given these international times that we're in, barriers have come down. Trade truly is global, isn't it? So presumably the need for what you're doing is going up.
Yes, absolutely. We're very pleased and lucky that we've had a strong online presence. We've done a lot of work with businesses that are selling online since 2010, and obviously, given everything that's happened over the last 20 months or so, we've seen big levels of growth from clients going forward.
Yeah, and in terms of the challenges, the wonders of recording live. That's okay. We're all working from home and family members coming in and everything else. In terms of the challenges that businesses have experienced over the last couple of years, Simon, which have been unprecedented, what have you seen happening as you talk to them?
So I guess it's a lot of the challenges have just been around the level of change that businesses have had to experience, whether or not that's change that has been enforced on them by things such as global lockdowns, or whether or not that's decisions that they've made or they've had to make on the back of those changes and those situations. I think it's also noticeable that there have been some big shifts and changes to the way businesses trade internationally, due to different geopolitical events, and there have been implications of some of those events that have impacted trade in ways that maybe none of us quite expected. And
can you give an example of something like that?
Yeah, I think if we look at the situation that we're seeing globally in terms of the global supply chain at the moment, the extra delays that are being caused by, from a logistics perspective in terms of getting products from the manufacturers to their end markets. We're seeing our own clients impacted by that, by logistics timeframes moving from 3 weeks to 6 weeks or 6 weeks to 9 weeks. And that has significant impact in terms of businesses being able to fulfill the sales or the commitments they've made to their customers, but also there are cash flow implications of when they're expected to pay for goods, but when they might receive them. And I guess it's and a lot of these things are very fundamental to the way we do business. And if you look at things like just-in-time delivery schedules and supply chains, it's all having a knock-on impact that maybe a lot of us hadn't foreseen.
And it's almost impossible for a business owner to know everything that they need to know. So how important, in your view, is the accountant as a trusted advisor in keeping these businesses going?
I think the accountant is hugely important. They play a really significant role in helping businesses manage these challenges. And I think, and I say that from both from working with accountants today, but also being a non-exec director of a business that has its own accountant and looks to take advice from people externally. And from what I've learned over the years in business is, experience is so important. And even, for business owners, just having a sounding board, an ear to be able to talk through challenges and be able to sense check ideas and solutions is hugely powerful. And there's further opportunities for accountants and as professional advisors to be able to proactively reach out and help clients, which I think is a huge opportunity.
Sure. And in WorldFirst, do you deal directly with businesses, or do you go through the accountant that then helps their business clients?
So we have historically worked directly with businesses, but a big focus of my role is, from a partnerships perspective, is looking at how we can work more closely with our accounting partners to help them be able to deliver and drive value for their clients. So we're very focused on developing and delivering our products and service and our knowledge and experience in a way that is helping the accountants have those conversations with their clients and helping them manage some of the challenges that they're seeing on a day-to-day basis.
So how exactly would WorldFirst help an accounting firm or an accountant to deliver more value to their clients?
So particularly when we look at international trade, and businesses that are active internationally, we split it down into two key areas. Ultimately, we want to help our accounting partner save time and money in terms of how they're providing their services to their clients that are trading internationally, and we can do that through technology integration, through the WorldFirst platform, making it more efficient in terms of how they're working with clients and helping them manage their international currency exposure. From a simple technology integration perspective, we can simplify data entry and account transaction reconciliation. And then the second element is really looking at how we can help our accounting partners not only grow their business, but help their clients grow and develop their business. So helping them to expand into new international markets or to strengthen their supply chain. And it's really ultimately, if the accountants are able to help their clients grow, then it gives them the potential to provide them with additional services, and it benefits their own business.
That does make sense completely. And if an accountant is wanting to advise or encourage their clients to embrace more international trade, what kind of questions or topics should an accountant be bringing up with that client in their general conversations?
That's a really good question. I think having an understanding of the client's business goals and where they have historically sold channels that have performed well for them, and potentially challenges that they've experienced in recent years that may have curtailed that growth. So one of the conversations that we often have to our clients is, during recent years, it's been much harder to travel. And if their business has depended on international trade shows, for instance, then they haven't been able to travel abroad, meet new suppliers or clients as they normally would do. And there are online channels these days where essentially that provide a 24/7 global trade show to allow businesses that exposure that they historically got traveling abroad. And so there are examples there of how there are new ways of working that could potentially benefit clients. So it's about, it's really about understanding what's worked in the past, and then from our perspective, we're very focused on trying to provide support and education and knowledge, and to help our accounting partners feel comfortable and confident about the options that are available to them, and to be able to facilitate those conversations with clients.
Sure. Talk to us about the role of technology in what you do and how it's changed the way businesses trade, particularly across countries and cultures.
Yeah, so I've always, from a personal perspective, been fascinated by the role that technology can play in making it easier for businesses to complete transactions and to go about their day to day. From a payments perspective, with WorldFirst as an example, we in 2017 we've done a lot of work with businesses that are selling online, and in 2017 we launched what we called our World account. It's now our collections account. But as an example, that allows us, once a client opens an account, it allows us to open local currency accounts instantaneously. So if they're selling through different online marketplaces, often they can require a bank account or to be able to receive the proceeds of funds of sales that they're making. We're able, typically you would have to go in and open that account in person. In current times, that's incredibly challenging if banks are offering new current accounts at all. And it's a great example of how we've been able to essentially help businesses provide the infrastructure for business to make it simpler for them to expand and move into new markets, simply by providing a local currency account in this instant that helps makes it easier for the business to set up and also dip their toe into that particular market. And I think there's a lot of examples where businesses such as ourselves and WorldFirst, what we're looking to do is to provide businesses with the financial infrastructure that makes it easier for them to do business abroad, and testing their product in a new market without necessarily having to have boots on the ground or an office in that location, reduces risks, reduces the costs associated with testing a new market. So that's a really exciting opportunity. And there's other elements around open banking that, in terms of payments, being able to be instructed from different bank accounts once clients have provided their permission, that just ease the flow of money between financial institutions, which, if done in the right way, is exciting. And looking into the future, there's some really exciting developments around blockchain and into being able to settle international contracts in real time, that could really significantly speed up how international trade is done in the future. So I think there's a whole I could talk for a lot longer than this podcast is going to allow us to.
And what challenges might a business be having? What would be the telltale signs that they need to expand beyond, say, domestic trade to look at other avenues for their products and services?
So, simply depending on the type of product. If it's if they're providing a niche product or service in a particular market, it may be the case that there is limited opportunity for growth, or they may have saturated the opportunity for growth in their particular home market. And so that's often an example of where they may then start wanting to look into other international markets. Equally, we've seen lots of examples of something that's taken off, a new technology or a new service or product that's taken off in one market, it's more a case that just no one's thought of the idea elsewhere. So it provides businesses with an opportunity in terms of first mover advantage if they're able to diversify and expand their sales into different international markets, particularly as well if their supply chain is international. Maybe from a financial risk perspective, if they they've got sales in the US and Europe, or the US and in Asia, then that helps manage other aspects of their currency exposure versus supply chain versus sales and that sort of thing.
And have you got evidence with the research that you do, Simon, that trade is definitely opening up? Because we've had, as you say, logistical problems, supply chain, countries have shut down, the UK have come out of Europe, so there's the whole Brexit thing. Are there still barriers there, or are we trading freely everywhere?
So I think it's definitely the case that there are barriers that have that have been put in place through changes that have been made, but equally there are opportunities that have opened up. So there are rules there are lots of rules around VAT, so sales tax changes in the UK and Europe, and products that prior to trade changes didn't incur sales tax that may mean clients have stopped selling into certain markets. But what we found is that and the feedback that we're getting from our clients is where one door maybe has been shut, another door has been opened. And so I think as a general rule, businesses are keen to trade internationally. It's not a simple picture or a consistent picture in all markets at the moment, but I really firmly believe that the improvements in financial technology in recent years ultimately are making it easier for businesses to trade internationally, and certainly to overcome a lot of the challenges that they're experiencing or have experienced over recent years.
And what mistakes do companies tend to make when they look to expand to international trade?
So I think, as I've mentioned previously, having an understanding of which sales channels work for a business in different markets is important. So I think it's also important to do the right level of research in terms of how your product may be perceived in a local market, and whether it's priced correctly. Because as an example, products in the UK or in other markets, they may have one perception in their local market, but then when if they look at a new international market, they may, for instance, be a certain cachet about a product being manufactured by a different country, and that may actually allow them to position themselves from a premium perspective in new market that they're moving into, and that may be inconsistent with what they're used to. So it's really about trying to carry out that level of understanding and research, but then being able to test the market in different ways and being flexible. I think it's important to be open-minded in terms of how you approach new markets, using all of the knowledge and experience that you've obviously got from the markets that you're already selling in, but not necessarily meaning that that's putting you in a straitjacket in terms of how you may approach other international markets that you're moving into.
And we have thousands of accounting practitioners all over the world listen to our podcast. If they want to get in touch with you, have a conversation, what's a good way for them to reach you, Simon?
Well, the best way is to reach out via email. So more than happy if I share that on the.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Fantastic. So we'll share that with the listeners. But I think email, always really keen to hear from prospective partners and accountants in different parts of the world, because it's always also really great for us to understand what's going on in their local market, and it's good to be able to grow that international network and contacts.
So what would a conversation with an accounting firm look like?
So, when we speak to new accounting partners, we're really keen just to understand, to get a much better understanding of the makeup of the firm, and also the services that they either are providing their clients today, and potentially the services that they would, or the type of services that they'd like to be providing in the future. If we have a really good understanding about the type of clients that they're working with, then that also helps us really add value in terms of the type of conversations and the knowledge and support that we can provide them with around how our service can complement the way that they're working today, and importantly, add value for that accountant, and add value for the clients that they may potentially introduce to us in the future. It's very much a partnership. That's really what's important, and a transfer and a sharing of knowledge, so that ultimately everyone benefits.
Yeah. And in closing, Simon, what advice would you give to accountants that are perhaps in a firm that's not focusing too much on international business, but these accountants really get it? They know that the world is opening up. They want to create some possibilities, some opportunities within their firm, and engage their clients in a conversation about this. How would you encourage them?
Well, so I think, everything that's happened over the last couple of years, throughout the world, there's been a huge level of change, and hopefully that's opening lots of people's eyes up to the opportunities, to different ways of working for businesses globally. And there are fantastic opportunities out there. So all I would say, in terms of WorldFirst, we're here, we're very keen to provide support and knowledge and information to partners to be able to help them embark on that new stage of growth. And if you're an accountant that's listening and you're working within a firm, and this would be a new area that you're looking to develop, then hopefully we're in a great position to be able to provide that support and knowledge to give you the confidence to be able to embark on that journey and start having conversations both with clients, but also colleagues within your firm, so that they can help join you on that journey and help understand the benefits that you will be able to provide in terms of opening up the world to your clients.
That's great. And what excites you most, finally, Simon, about the future?
Well, I think there's just a fantastic level of opportunity in terms of how businesses are going to be able to grow and develop, and how trade is going to evolve in the coming years. I think if you look at just the different technology businesses in different parts of the world and the different ways of doing things, I think it presents phenomenal opportunity, and I'm really looking forward to being able to harness some of that in a period of time, hopefully, where things calm down a little bit for everyone globally, and we can get back to making maybe some of this change won't be forced on us in the way that it has been over recent years. But
sure. Yeah. Amen to that. Simon Smallwood, thanks so much for your time and your insights today.
Cheers, Rob.
You've been watching or listening to the Accounting Influencers podcast, featuring hosts Rob Brown and Martin Bissett, with key interviews, what's working in the accounting profession, and news from the accounting and fintech world that helps you do your jobs better. We go out to 144 countries, over 20,000 unique listeners, with 100,000 downloads, and it is accredited for continued professional education and development. Thank you for tuning in.